We now know why UFC welterweight Daniel Rodriguez was in jail the last 8 months. He was on with Ariel Helwani today on his show and explained everything and talked about why. We hadn't seen him in a while, so that story about, I think his team came out a little while back saying, oh, he was backpacking in Peru. Yeah, that was all BS. So here's Daniel Rodriguez talking about why he was in jail the last 8 months, and it was basically for weed, but I'll let him talk himself here, courtesy of Jedi Goodman with the clip here. Let's check out what D-Rod has to say. We're not going to watch this whole thing because it's 4 minutes, but I'll give my take on some of the stuff he says here, and we'll get to it after.
Man, if you, pretty sure y'all remember my last fight versus Kevin Holland. You know, it was an amazing matchup, and you know, went on vacation to cross the border. I crossed the border of Mexico, and you know, forgot I had a little bag of weed with me. Man, it was under an ounce, and got pulled over at the line and got checked, man, and man, the border patrol were tripping on the weed, and you know, I was thinking I was only going to be in there like probably the weekend, maybe a little bit shorter, but man, the laws over there out there in Mexico, they're way different, man. They don't play no games, you know. So what I was thinking would turn into what was going to be, you know, probably a little weekend or maybe overnight, turn into 8 months, man. Right in the prime and the smack prime of my career, man. And yeah, man, that was it, dude.
What does that mean? Are we talking?
Exactly 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks, man. I was in celebration mode.
So you're saying 2 weeks after his last fight, he was in there,
and
which is in July,
and spend the weekend out there. And you know, I didn't think twice, man. I made a mistake, and trying to get some weed over the border, man. And if anybody in Mexico knows, the weed over there is just trash.
So here's the problem. He kind of contradicts himself, right? He initially says that I made a mistake. I had some weed on me, like, you know, I didn't know about. And then he's saying the weed over there isn't very good. So I think he tried to bring it over and it didn't go well. But nonetheless, let's watch the rest of this.
Yeah, you know, man, I made an honest mistake, man, and ended up paying some time for it.
Is there any particular reason why they were searching your car as you're crossing over the border? That doesn't happen.
He just says
man, I guess their excuse was that there were no license plate tags in the front. So yeah, just like to raise a little bit of awareness, everybody. Like, man, be careful when you're crossing that border right now. Right now it's really hot because the whole Trump thing, I guess, deporting everybody and you know, I guess they got a grudge against Americans, you know, and I guess they try to make an example out of me, man. I try to keep a low profile, try not to let them know who I am or who I was, you know, and you know, it didn't work out. It didn't work out the way I wanted to, man.
So anyways, that's basically it. He ends up, you know, going to jail for 8 months for weed, which is just ridiculous. You know, again, if you've done any, I mean, I don't want to turn this into a video about the, you know, the pros and cons of marijuana or, you know, the effects of it or anything like that. But if that's what you got put away for, that's crazy. But, you know, going across any border now, you got to be super careful about that stuff. So, sorry, I should backtrack a little bit. Yeah, he didn't randomly get searched just because he didn't have license plate on the front of his car. You got to kind of be perfect when you go across the border. And I experienced this too as a Canadian going to the US sometimes. You got to be, you know, got to have everything kind of lined up here because they'll be pretty strict. And we know what's going on with ICE and everything and them, you know, deporting people to the US. I absolutely believe that with D-Rod, where he's saying that they're being sort of extra strict on stuff, at least on the Mexican side of things, which would make sense. But man, if that's like, you know, when I heard that he was away initially, when I was hearing rumblings about this, I thought it was for way more than weed. I thought, you know, we're talking heavier drugs or something along those lines. But if it was just marijuana, like, geez, like, that's crazy that he was away for that long. You know, he is with Vayner Sports. He did mention in an Instagram post, I didn't see the full thing of this interview. This is just the part that I think was the most important. But I assume his management group, Vayner Sports, pretty powerful media group. They, I know, did help him in this process, whether it was legal stuff or whatever. So I'm sure they played a role in getting him out of there. But yeah, if he was made an example, that sucks because it's not like he's a young fighter either. Daniel Rodriguez is, you know, going to be 40 at the end of this year. So that's pretty crazy that, you know, right when he's on a win streak too, you know, he's stuck in this, you know, this jail for the last 8 months. So it's pretty unfortunate that this happened. good lesson to everyone out there watching this video. Like, don't try and mess around at all with Border Patrol, and that goes anywhere you're going because they can be super strict about this stuff. So really unfortunate that this happened to Daniel Rodriguez, that he ends up in this place where, again, he doesn't know what's going to happen. And again, the laws over there are a little bit different. He mentions later in this clip about, trying to give them money, because I've heard that too, where if you're dealing with, Border Patrol, that, it's kind of the Wild West over there. They do take bribes. So I don't know. But yeah, really unfortunate stuff for him. Glad he's back. He later in the interview mentions that, he needs about 3 months, I think, to get ready back in shape. He wants to fight Leon Edwards. So we're getting a bit of clarity here. But yeah, he was jailed for drugs. That was basically, that's what I had heard. Didn't want to confirm anything officially because, again, it's hard to get information over there. But that's what it was. And, lesson everyone out there, make sure you got your plates. Make sure you don't have any drugs on you because they'll just be super weird about it. And I have no doubt that there's bad weed in Mexico, but why even risk it? I mean, sure, if you could go back in time, you wouldn't have anything in there. So you got to double check that stuff. I don't know. Did he, not that this is like such a small point, but obviously it led to a big thing. Like, did he try and bring it over, or was it a case of he really forgot? I don't know. Like, usually when I'm traveling, I double, triple check everything that's on me. So that's something I would do going forward. You look at some of the comments here. He said he forgot he had some weed on him. Then he said he made a mistake by trying to get some weed over the border. I'm confused. That's how I took this as well. So I think he did try and bring it over. Not worth it though. And obviously he didn't know he'd be put away for 8 months, but like, you got to be extra careful with Border Patrol as well. If we got some other quotes here, from what I can find, up to 28 grams is legal in Mexico, about an ounce, but carrying across the border any amount will get you a federal charge. So that's likely what happened to him here. So just glad he's out, because again, what I was hearing back then is that like he might not get out for a long time and his career might be over. Because again, we're not talking about a young fighter. We're talking about a guy close to his 40s right now. So good to hear that he's out. Good to hear that he's back. One of a fan favorite fighters. People really like him, and nice win streak he's on right now. Again, we just saw last weekend Kevin Holland get a win over Randy Brown. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Beating Holland is certainly good for him. He had a 3-fight losing streak prior to that. So I think a lot of people are excited right now. And again, there's a lot of fun fights for him in this weight class. Another name I thought that would be kind of fun for him, maybe going forward, although he did beat Holland, is Jeff Neal. I think that would be a fun fight between these two. Just seeing how that would go, but lots of good fights. And again, he is still ranked, so the UFC must have been aware of everything that's going on, or felt like he was going to get out soon, because again, he's still in the weight class here, still ranked. I think he's ranked number 15 or close to that. He's number 14, and Colby's still there for some reason, but whatever. That's a debate for a different video. But yeah, there you heard it. Daniel Rodriguez busted for weed. That's why he's out for 8 months. So the mystery is solved, and that's where we're at right now. And this guy says he should have just gave the cops some money. He actually said that in this clip. So I don't know if people just don't watch stuff or what's going on there, but that's basically where we're at right now. So 3 months, what does that look like? What card are we looking at? Maybe International Fight Week. Is that a little bit too close, right? That's July. So we're April, May. So May, June, July, kind of cutting it close. Maybe a little bit after that. We'll see. He's from California. So I don't know. I mean, any Vegas card would probably work, or anywhere else, but we'll see what happens with him. But the good news is Daniel Rodriguez back. He's back in action, and you can watch that full interview on Ariel Helwani's channel on his YouTube. So let me know your thoughts in the comments just on this whole thing. I mean, I'm of the belief that weed is, I put weed in the same category as alcohol. You bring alcohol across the border, who cares? Although obviously they don't like that either. But yeah, kind of silly that if they were using him as an example for weed, it's really stupid in my opinion. But again, that's a debate for a different day. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.